Hi, welcome back to Dow Twang. I'm Dave. This is going to be a hands-on deal today, okay? Just going to get into this track in just a second. I'll show you the chords. Then we'll just play some licks. I'll give you a chance to play. Get your guitar and your tone and stuff ready, okay? This isn't going to be one where you like watch it and listen to a theory lecture and then try to figure out what's going on later. Not today. If you really were looking forward to that today, then there's a bunch of that around on this channel and others. But this is going to be really laid back and fun, I hope. I used this track for a lesson on Patreon last week, but we did some specifically different things. Um, the main skills we talked about were harmonizing, some of the licks and using double stops and stuff like that. So this one will be a little bit different if you're on both venues. If you haven't checked out Patreon, every week we put an ad-free lesson up over there. Sorry, you won't hear that. My backing track just popped up kind of arbitrarily there, running in the background. I'll edit it out later. Each week there's an additional lesson on there, okay? $5 a month gets you in, all right? So enough said about that. Hopefully we'll see you over there. We're on our going into our third month, and I think we've got 40 something subscribers over there. So we're having a good time, and check it out. Let's get right into this one. Now, we're in G. It starts on A minor. So these are the chords. No surprises in that progression, is there? That on for a second. Now we're in G, right? G major scale, G major pentatonic. Get the idea, the feel, right? So, that's just my kind of go-to feel for it, and I'm keeping it in kind of an even cadence with the soloing that I'm doing, right? I'm not doing a lot of flurries of triplets and things, right? I'm doing that so that you can just see kind of the notes that are being used. When I took off there that time, I went right from a G major pentatonic. I just didn't play the actual G. I started from like the second note in that. That's the G, but a lot of times you can start your lick, right? And you could of course think of it as like, oh, I'm on some A minor, and the next chord is C. Those two are so closely related, right? Relative, major and minor, they share a lot of notes. So you got the same two things going on as usual, really. Just, some of the notes are taken right out of the triad. And C. I put a little flat seventh in there, didn't I? Just for that D7 for flavor. Now, back to just kind of that, using that group of notes. Try that. All right, I'll give you a little space right there. Okay, these are just sequences, right? This is just stuff that, they're licks, right? But they're not licks that have to be duplicated in the exact same manner. I like to come into this note too. I think that's how I came in the intro, right? Maybe, and when I played just a few minutes ago, just a moment ago. So like. Okay, so I like that because it does give you sort of a sense of the playing the change, the chord tones, and it still has that nice laid back pentatonic feel. So in that case, I'm sliding into the. Okay, and we could break this all down into chord tones and stuff, but I told you we weren't going to get too tedious about it. But see, and then you can kind of hear the song, even though we're not playing any chords right now, right? So when I go to that, I do want to point this out. When you bend that one, you're going to that note, okay? The note is B, and it's a nice tone over any of these chords, but certainly with the G, it's the major third of the G. And then if I go back to that one, it's the note's A. It's also the fifth of that D. Okay, so that's about all I'm going to say about the chord tones. Just kind of helping you look into that if that's what you choose to do. You can also just kind of use a more intuitive approach of using this simple pattern of G major pentatonic. And here I'll really demonstrate that more simplified. Okay, so what happened there? I hit some nice chord tones and stuff along the way, but honestly, I wasn't really even like thinking like, oh, I'm on the third of A minor and I'm on the. It just, the way I'm setting this up for you, and the way that the system already exists. I didn't do any of this, by the way. I'm just demonstrating what some other geniuses actually did. It is, when you play those notes in that pentatonic, you're going to hit, nice tones just everywhere. And that's what makes this so much fun. And you can really kind of get out of your head with it, So I like this little pocket. Of course, we just talked about that. All right, so you tell that leads right up to that D sound more. Right. Now that I might have slipped in one other note that may not be. Let's see. Yeah. That G from the major pentatonic, that note is added. Okay, the third of that D. So you know, again, you're using the pentatonic scale, but on occasion you drop right into the triad tones. Right, that'll work in almost every situation. But I really like getting from this position to this one. Right, and that looks familiar, doesn't it? G major pentatonic. So one way I like to do that is use that right there. And that E is a nice note too for a lot of the chords. So when you put the track on, you'll see how versatile all this really is. Just a second. So a couple other notes that are kind of getting dropped in there, especially over the D. All right. So that third of the D. Oops, turned my track off. It's not in the G major pentatonic, or there's no seventh in major pentatonic. It goes right from the root to the six. But if we fill that in with the G major scale, right, then we get a couple of those notes added that will drop in just right over some of the chords. Okay, and again, you don't have to analyze every bit of that. But when your ear pulls you to that note, right, it's all kind of bundled in that G major sound, right? So let me show you just one more little bit using that sort of approach. So, and then kind of I'll take you out with that and get you to the practice loop. So to review, work out with your G major pentatonic. Okay. If you want to get into the chord tones a little bit, you can kind of just map out some of your triads. Okay. That's just kind of another approach. I like the legato kind of simplicity of the G major pentatonic over this piece. And then I'll put a few of those chord tones in there just to, for some sparkle. So let's get you to the practice loop so that you can really do your thing and start kind of settling into this. And perhaps you were able to see that, in that last little piece I played, I had really let myself go, right? I had drifted into that kind of trusted space of that major pentatonic that I'm very familiar with, and my fingers just knew where they were going. I wasn't thinking about it anymore. And then once that became very relaxed, I was able to kind of listen to the song and drop in, one of those other two notes from the G major scale, along with the pentatonic here and there. Um, but it was all anchored to, just a small note grouping. Right. And that's what I encourage you to do with this and other pieces as well. Create a home base and then branch out from it. Repeat it. Take your time. Be patient. Um, Settle into that groove of just a few notes and where to bend it and where you can just kind of cycle it through the whole piece. And then move out to the neighboring notes and up to a different position, back, and so forth. Okay? Let me know how this goes. Appreciate every one of you. Talk to you next time.